Hello, everyone. So, today we're chatting about decompression activities because the last chat was about trigger stacking and how that can really contribute to your dog's stress levels and their general quality of life, whether or not they're reactive or if they're just a normal dog. Or they've got any behavior issues or things like that. Trigger stacking is so important to understand for even puppies. So, decompression and decompression activities are anything that reduce those stress hormones building up in your dog's body. If you haven't caught up on the trigger stacking, go and catch that, go and read that before carrying on with this talk, because I'm going to be referencing a whole bunch of stuff that was in that talk. And you'll understand a little bit more of what I'm talking about if you have watched both. Decompression activities are anything that stop those stress hormones building up or help get rid of them as quickly as possible. I was going to make this sort of next few post theme about exercise, but there are so many different assumptions that are made when the word exercise is used that I've decided to go for activities, because even if a decompression activity involves exercise, exercise is the side quest. It's not the main goal of completing that activity. Whereas if I said a decompression walk, I have had numerous clients think it's all about exercising the dog, and it's not. It might be something that happens as a result of going on that decompression walk, but it's not the goal of the decompression walk, if that makes sense. So decompression activities are anything that you can do with your dog that reduce those stress levels, that reduce the excitement. So they don't want to be like it's not your dog's bucket list. It is something that if your dog had, let's say, you've had, when you have those really, really busy months, there isn't a single weekend in the calendar where you are free to go and see friends or to just sit at home and do nothing. Because when you've had a really, really packed work schedule, a really, really packed social schedule, sometimes just sitting at home in peace and quiet can be lovely. And different people have different levels of hitting that sitting at home in quiet. And we've all got a different tolerance to busyness of varying things. So what we want to do is think about when you have had those months where it's mental and you get a surprise Saturday evening off, or a surprise Saturday off, something got cancelled, something couldn't go ahead. What are you doing for that day? So for me, I would do some light movement. I'm not going to go and absolutely kill myself in a workout. I'm going to go for a walk, hour, maybe a couple of hours, nothing crazy, no hills, maybe some nice views, but nothing that's really going to get my blood pumping. I might be a little bit out of breath if there is a particularly savage hill, but that's not the goal of the walk. The goal is just to go and be out in nature, probably with my dogs, listen to some birds, see some seaside, and see lots of green stuff. Then I might, if I haven't already done so, move my muscles in a way I feel quite good after I stretch. So I might do a stretch or a mobility workout. I might go to the gym and lift weights, but equally I'm going to the gym for my mental health, so that I feel I've moved my body. I feel that I have achieved something, because quite often if you lift weights and you suddenly get a personal best where you weren't expecting one, that is a really, really nice feeling, but it can sometimes be a little bit exciting. So it would depend on what I was trying to achieve. I would probably just be going to do like a maintenance session, just to go and say that I've moved my body, not go and say that I've hit 3 PBs that are all ridiculous weights on lifts that I've been really struggling with for months. Then I'd have some good food, some nice fresh food, probably like freshly made, nothing that's been sat in the freezer that I made 3 months ago or whatever it is. Just nice fresh food, lots of water, lots of drinks, maybe a couple of sweet things. Then I would challenge my brain a little bit. Anyone that knows me knows I adore reading. I would probably pick up a fiction book that I have been absolutely dying to finish, and sit for a few hours and read that, or maybe a little puzzle, maybe a computer game that I don't find particularly frustrating. There are some, I'm looking at you, The Witcher, that I'm really struggling to complete on my Switch. wouldn't pick that up because I find it frustrating as hell, and I can feel my stress hormones going up just talking about it. But something like Animal Crossing, go in, achieve like my next build or something like that, something that I know I can achieve, gives me a little bit of a challenge, but equally gets my brain working. And maybe something creative. I do also love drawing and painting and things like that. If in an ideal world, I would have a space where I can have those things out and just walk over to them and pick them up. I tend not to do that very much because I'm sort of too busy to do all of that. But maybe get my iPad out, do a little bit doodling on that, something like that. For my dogs, decompression days are similar. It would be, what do they choose to do that day that isn't the most exciting thing they can think of, but gets them moving in a calm way as best they can, and brings them down a level where they just feel like they're back to that lovely baseline we were talking about. So the core qualities of any decompression activity are that it's not too exciting. Yes, it should be something you enjoy, but it doesn't want to feel like going to Disneyland. If it feels like going to Disneyland, too exciting, we're getting too many of those excitement hormones in the body. We don't want that. We want it to be dog driven. So it's not what I think is decompressing, it's what my dogs think is decompressing. And how I know that is, what's their behaviour like before, what's their behaviour like after, what's their behaviour like if they don't get that for an extended period of time, what is their behaviour like if they do get it for an extended period of time. So I know with Pumba, if we go to dog shows week after week after week after week after week and he has dogs bark at him from vans, that is stressful for him. If that was all the exercise he got, he would be a reactive twat. There is no other word for that. But if we go out into nature and if we walk and have nice, calm countryside strolls, that doesn't happen. I know that if he's gotten a little bit trigger stacked from one show one week and we go out for a nice, calm walk the next week, the rest of that next week afterwards, that when we go to a show the next weekend, he can cope with those dogs barking at him from vans so much better. If I was to take him to the beach and throw toys into the water for him, and that was his exercise for the whole week between those dog shows, he'd be as reactive, if not more, as he was had he just experienced those dogs barking at him from vans. And it's all about what the dogs find decompressing and exciting or not. Between my dogs, they have different ideas of what is decompressing, and that's fine, but I need to make sure that I'm offering that for them. And it's not training based, so you'll notice that I've not said we're going to do a load of training, make no relaxation protocol or anything like that, although relaxation is in the name. We are literally just going out and having a nice time. We're not worrying about hitting criteria or things like that. Now, don't get me wrong. Today I took Sonic out on a decompression walk. Whilst we were on the road, we trained Lucy walking because I wanted to and because it was a nice opportunity and I was in the mood. But of that hour and a half long walk, she had less than 12 minutes of Lucy walking training. The rest of it, she was off lead, living her best life. So you need to plan things like that without loads and loads of training. I wouldn't go to do a decompression walk in an environment that I know my dogs wouldn't recall in and then train the recall. I would put them on a long line and keep them on the long line. And I would let the training slide for that walk. I wouldn't decompress and train at the same time. They are not the same things. So examples of these are a decompression walk. I've mentioned these a few times already. We're going to be talking about those in another video. Chewing and puzzle enrichment, like I said with the kind of video game analogy, we don't want it to be something super hard and complicated. We want a little bit of challenge, but well within the range of what that individual can achieve. Sniffing. Just get your dog sniffing. Get them sniffing, get them chewing. It's the best thing you can possibly do. And things like snoozing in the sun. For Pumba, a perfect day for him is a swim in the sea, which is not decompressing, it's exciting, then a decompression walk, and then snooze in the sun all day and have a bone in the evening. That is his perfect day if he could write one for me. I'm going to put some links to some podcasts in the comments from Sarah Stramming of The Cognitive Canine, because she is the queen of decompression walks and she's where I've gotten a lot of my ideas from. So those are going to be in the comments. Do check them out. Do go and learn about decompression from the horse's mouth, as it were. And we're going to go into depth over a few more of these over the next few videos. So I hope you enjoy, guys. Catch you soon.